name's Ian from Portsunlight River Park. I work for Autism Together. I'm the Community Education Officer. What I'm going to do this afternoon, on this nice November day, is give you a short little talk regarding trees and what can interest us in nature. So what I've done, I've been out doing a little bit of foraging on my walks in the round Wirral. I've been up to a couple of places across Portsunlight and River Park, and also across the Staunton Woods as well. So I've got a collection here for us. I'm just going to talk through some of the variety of common species of trees, basically the structure of trees and what we can identify, and how to go about it. Now, with practice, I guess, you're able to identify trees just from looking at the shape of them. But the other good way is obviously to use the actual shape of the leaves, which I'm going to tell you about. We've got a selection here. And also as well some of the buds on the tree and the bark, and also there's the fruits, cones, nuts and seeds of a tree. So as you might know, there are two different types of trees. We've got broad-leaved and we've also got coniferous. So I'm going to firstly talk about broad-leaved trees. Now these have a wide surface area on their leaf. This particular leaf is actually off a horse chestnut tree, one of the biggest leaves you actually see. So yeah, it's obviously gone into its autumn colour at the moment. I'll explain why that will be as well, which we're going to talk about. So obviously the variety and shape of leaves, they're all different, broad-leaved. The other thing they're also actually known as well as broad-leaved, is deciduous trees. Now deciduous means they will actually lose their leaves in autumn, this time of year, which obviously majority of broadleaf stroke deciduous trees will do. This is actually a beech tree, or beech twig, and a beech leaf. So you can see the shape of the leaves there. It's quite a lot smaller than the actual horse chestnut. Obviously a turned colour. This other one you might be familiar with as well, which I'm sure you are, is obviously the sessile oak. Different varieties of oak. This is the sessile one, and you tell that because of the buds going up and the way the leaves are shaped as well. You see them a lot out in woodlands. And obviously what oaks, as we know, are also famous for are our acorns. So you may spot where they're basically on the floor this time of year, probably been chomped at by squirrels. Which obviously like them, as we know, they bury them a lot, certainly in my garden anyway. So I mentioned about most deciduous trees, broadleaf trees, losing the leaves, but one exception to the rule, which you may be familiar with, is holly. You know holly, obviously Christmas time, and for its berries. It stays green because of its very waxy leaves. Yeah, you can see that there, so that will stay green all year round. Other types of broadleaf trees, which you may be familiar with, that's from a birch, or a silver birch, more to the fact. Now silver birch is known for its bark, and there's a collection of the bark that I've been able to find. You can see actually on there how silvery it is, and gnarled. Very good for obviously kind of identifying the silver birch. You'll see that quite clearly in woodlands all the time. Another type of broadleaf tree, which you might not be too familiar with, but it's an interesting one, and we have this here at the park, is the Italian alder. You see the shape of the leaves there, quite rounded, with a pointed end to them. But the interesting kind of features of these, which again is all about tree identification, is the two different types of catkins that are on there. You can see the larger ones, and this other type as well. So hopefully you can see them fairly clearly on there. So they're the alder species. Yeah, that's good. Other type, which is familiar to probably quite a lot of us, certainly in the sycamore family, is the maple. Brought that one in to show us because it's obviously the red features on that, which is really nice. You can actually see the veins on the leaf there, front and back as well. So really clear, that one. Yeah, and we've got some other types of things we can identify as well. I wanted to show you this as well, because this is from a cherry tree. quite clearly they're cherries, and obviously kind of the shape of the cherry leaf, quite large leaf in effect, but also quite distinct buds, different than a set of buds I'm going to show you for the ash tree, because these follow up the stem opposite each other as they go up straight, and obviously clustered at the top. But an ash tree, which is this type of bud, very dark black the buds are, and then buds again follow up the twig, but they follow up at right angles, so they come up straight there, and it's gone. It's a right angle there, and then again. So ash trees are a bit more sort of more silvery as well, or grey, you should say, than silver. Yeah, and the other types of berries that you can get, there are two different types here. So on the right hand, that's off a hawthorn. The distinct red berries for hawthorn. Small leaves, again, different shaped leaves compared to this chestnut and the oak. And this one's actually off a rowan, so really vivid red berries. Small leaf tree, again, sort of something that'll tell you what type of tree it is. Of course, all berries, I'd say, were poisonous and not to have anything to do with them. But unless, of course, you're a bird. And the birds themselves love having these, which is off our wild rose. We have these in the park. So these are rose hips. And this time of year, because obviously the roses have flowered, basically it's the seed pod, which inside here is a great energy source for birds, and that's why we leave them growing, if you like, in the park. And again, if you've got roses at home, you can leave in your garden for birds to come and enjoy them. This is a species which you find a lot in hedgerows, actually. It's blackthorn, obviously very black berries. Again, people actually make gin out of these, sloe gin. I haven't done it personally. But again, you know, a species that in the hedgerow is important food source for birds, really. Yeah, and also again, just to show you, you may be familiar with this one. This is willow. Willow is very good for bending round. You can make wreaths, etc. out of willows. We have a lot of that in the park at the moment. It's a goat willow, this species, and various different types of willow. I said I'd also mention about coniferous trees. Well, you probably know they're the trees that remain green all year round, and the reason they stay green is they have very waxy leaves, which has a resin on the leaf itself, which means it's a coating really, so again that protects it. This is off a Scots pine. Yeah, we've got these in the River Park. Again, easily identifiable, grow very tall Scots pines. From their native country, Scotland. Again, this is a Lawton cypress. You see a lot of these in gardens, actually, not to be confused with leylandii. Again, a nice evergreen tree, really. Different type of seed cones, seed pods there. Again, you see them quite a lot. And the other example of a coniferous one is this is from a yew tree. Again, waxy leaves, very, very small and spiny, like the other ones there. You see them a lot in the actual churchyard. Quite a religious tree going back, thousands of years, really. So you'll see them around on your travels, possibly as well, wherever you visit. Just as well to just touch on a little bit of the science bit, I guess, which is important. Just wanted to explain about the green pigments in leaves. You can see the veins on them. They're green because it's chlorophyll, called chlorophyll, inside the leaves themselves. And this forms the process of what we call photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is very important, actually, because that's basically what gives the tree all its energy. Basically, the tree, if you like, is converting carbon dioxide into oxygen, which is important for us, important for the planet, of course. So, when you think about it, the tree is really, really efficient in terms of how it converts what it receives from its surroundings and creates all the things it needs to survive, which benefits us ultimately as well. Obviously, in autumn, you might be wondering why is it no longer green? Well, basically, the leaves have given the tree or its energy needs. So basically it's now what's called decomposing, which is mean it's fading away really, I guess. So that's the fading away process of a tree, and then the pigments in there, which were green, suddenly disappear, and these other pigments, the reds, the yellows, the browns, all these wonderful colours that we see in autumn come through, which is really one of the magic of nature, I guess. And obviously this time of year it's wonderful to get out and see all that actually happen for real. So yeah, that was kind of a summary of kind of what I've been able to find and what I wanted to share with you yourselves. And the other thing to say, which is quite important as well, which might be of interest to you, I wanted to mention about the Woodland Trust. They've got a campaign at the moment called the Big Climate Fight Back, which is a good thing to look into. The reason being is they're offering small trees called whips, which is available for community groups and schools to access for free, which means you can obviously plant your own woodland, and it'll be all British native species, which is what I've been able to find. So you can imagine you can start off and create a woodland. That's a real good way of contributing towards climate change and doing our bit for the planet as well. So that's us in all, really. We're obviously interested to share more of these talks with you, which we're going to do over time. So what I'd like to say is obviously thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed that little bit of a kind of snapshot of what trees are about. And we hope to see you in the park soon. Thank you.